any day now. Alrighty. Howdy, Beefalo Bart here, and welcome to 2020. Very late starting this evening, but I'm going to say this, and everybody should feel this way and respond this way and live their life this way, but family comes first. I had to take care of some things for mother, and she's all taken care of. So I can actually get back to doing my thing. But family should always come first. And that for sure will be me throughout the rest of my life. My family will come first. Do a good job. What the hell's going on over here? Damn drunk drivers. Okay, this was just kind of slapped together for, just something in here. I haven't had any audio or anything to the maps yet. And you know me, I gotta have sound, and I haven't done it yet. But anyway. Alright, so, the year 2020. Oh, you're not supposed to be the FBI guy. You should be somebody else. Who are you going to be? That's good enough. So, what else coming for me in 2020? Well, here in, a couple days, on Friday, we'll be getting a shipment. It will be a new 3D printer and some resin to go with it. And yes, it is a resin type printer. I already have an FDM printer, but I wanted a resin type printer for multiple different reasons. So I ordered one, and you know what? That's thanks to tips, donations, and people who have purchased the stuff that I put together, like the simple multiplayer Steam template and things like that. It's through these tips and donations and sales of like the SMST that allows me to be able to buy things that I wouldn't be able to buy because I can't allocate any money out of the household budget for toys or anything entertainment wise or assets that I need to purchase or anything of that nature. So that will be coming on Friday, and knowing how Amazon is, even with Prime, it's still taking a couple days to get here, and with that, it'll probably show up like 7 o'clock at night. So this project that I'm kind of working on right here is something that I'm going to go ahead and start dedicating some time on. I had been waiting for other people to join me on this project, and I'm no longer going to just sit here and wait. I'm just going to keep doing things. And, I'll get it done or I won't get it done. And it will be my priority project. I won't go into a hell of a lot of detail on it, but for those who are interested in joining in on a team, there will be ways that people can contribute even if they don't have all the assets. So, essentially what it is, I'm using Cinti Studios assets, and like this is the Polygon City. I've got Polygon Heist, Pirates, Town, City Characters, and City Zombies put in here so far, but there will be more added. That was just the ones that I've got in here so far. Animation wise, looking at 69 from the generic pack, the regular 8 or 6 actually for the third person animation blueprint, and 216 that are coming in from the pedestrian pack that I picked up from the marketplace. 216 just normal casual things like sneezing and walking, leaning on walls, wheelbarrows, blah 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 blah, all kind of cool stuff. So well worth getting from the marketplace. and also the animation starter pack. I've got a number of animations in here as well. Um, I have not retargeted these yet. Just haven't had the need to just yet. Typically, what I would end up doing is modifying my regular third-person animation blueprint, or just using a modified version of this one, and using for combat, I would end up using the a modified version of this animation blueprint. But it only covers long guns. It doesn't cover handguns. So I'd end up having to make another one just for pistols and stuff. I do need to convert them all over to work with um, the Cinti characters. I haven't done it yet, just simply because I suck at setting up aim spaces. Just because I just haven't taken the time to actually do them yet. They are vital for a shooter to have. I just haven't done it. But there was a question that was asked about the pistols. So I will convert one over just to, as a temp thing. I generally have a temp folder in any of my projects that I'm working on. That way I can actually just kind of screw around with stuff. So the first thing when using the animation starter pack, just like any other that's using the UE4 skeleton, or Manny as I call it, of course he's in this pose here. So select humanoid rig, then raise the upper arm up 50, lower arm down 10, back 30. Hand, I should probably be doing 15, but I've been doing 20. Just out of sheer laziness, mostly. But 15 would probably be the best way to go. So down 10, back 30, hand would normally go up 15. And to do 15, all you'd have to do is uncheck this or change this to 5. I'm just not going to worry about it right now. Modify pose, use current pose, and save. Now I can retarget any of the animations from here and not have to worry about it. So I'm just going to do just one of the pistol animations right now, just to show what I was talking about earlier to that individual, if he's watching right now. If so, say hello. Equip pistol. Idle pistol. We'll just do that one right here. And what I'll do is retarget with the polygon skeleton. Change the folder. I'm just going to put it in temp folder right now. And retarget. And save all. Now, see we have some problems. His hands are not in the right location to begin with. And one thing you can do is pause it, scale it back to frame 0, and I'm going to grab the upper arm and see if I can do it with the upper arm and just move it out. Actually, I want to do it by 5. So let's change this over to 5, which I should have done already. That puts hand in hand, which a little bit better for shooting. And then I'm going to hit the key and apply right up here side by side. Now when I hit play, it stays in the same location. I can hit save. Now another thing I want to do is I want to look at the skeleton, and right there we hit save. We've got our asset in there already. But let's go to the skeleton tree, and we need a main hand, a hand that's actually going to hold the pistol. So what I'm going to do is go from default to use specific animation. Select the animation of being pistol, idle, and there we go. I'm going to hit pause. Scroll it back to frame 0. And we need to add in, I'm going to use the right hand, which is traditional, hand R. And now some other people use the finger, they use the wrist, other stuff like that. I'm going to stick with the hand R and right click and add socket. Then I'm going to click on it, hit F2. I call mine main hand, main underscore hand. That way I know what it is on all of my projects. You can call it whatever you want. Then what I'm going to do with that is right click on it and add preview asset. And type in pistol. Doesn't really matter if it's skeletal mesh or whatever, but yeah, that's fine. So you can see it's not being held correctly in the hand. So that's why we add the preview asset. So let's rotate it. And we're going to have to move it around and that kind of stuff too. Spend as much time as you want on there getting it right. Check it from different angles. It's almost always crooked. See, he's not looking at it correctly, so look at it from this direction. So you just want to look around, get as many angles as you possibly can on it. Spend as much time as you want on it. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. You can. I'm not gonna. So, technically speaking, the thumb is wrong. The thumb is actually clipping around a little bit. And you can actually come back over here to the hand, finger. We want the thumb. Thumb R. We don't want that one. It's not giving me what I want here. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is. It's not right. I'm not happy with it. Probably twist the hand around a little bit too. Because it does look a little bit on the dorky side. But if you've ever shot a handgun for real, you know that your thumb is not going to go there. As if you like to keep your thumb. So if you hit save now, it's probably going to change it in the wrong way. You probably want to go back to the animation and actually save that. So save, we'll close the skeleton, and I'm going to make sure I save this animation, then I'm going to close it again, and then reopen it. Now it shows the pistols in his hand. Spend as much time as you want getting that right. So that's going to be good enough. So when you're fixing that in your animations, you can fix that ahead of time. I noticed that there was some animation issues, just like see if I can find one of them. I don't remember which one it was, but you'll pretty much have to go through your animations. Now you can see that he's going to have that pistol forever until you actually remove it from the skeleton. it's not going to show up in anything else. So if you come back over here and click on it, hit delete while you have it highlighted, and you can get rid of it out of the visible spectrum there. So now if I open up another animation, he won't have the pistol. Some of them are a little bit off. It's like his arm position's a little bit too low on his shoulder, and that's, I don't think, going to be on my end. I think it's going to be on the original animation. But if you see any issues, you can go back in there and fix them. So one of the things I keep meaning to do is to fix the animations from idle pistol. There was the thriller challenge that I did a while back, and I still like those animations, but they're a little bit on the offside. So let's actually go in here to maps, test map. Sure, fine, save selected. Well, just kind of screwing around with this. So you walk over and get close to him, and then when you walk away, it goes away. So, yeah, nothing important there, just kind of screwing around. Let's see here. So many Polygon folders open. And that's not it. That's a different set of animations. I've got a ton more animations. Let's see if I can actually find the right ones here. Yeah, these are right here. So I'm going to grab these 5 animations and go to my temp folder, drag and drop all of them in here, and I'm going to select the regular UE form mannequin skeleton. See, there's 2 of them. Just mouse over it, and you can see the path. I know this is going to be the one that I want, and import all. Really? Import failed. Okay, well, let's try it a different way. Import. So for 2020, while I'm digging this stuff up here, I'm going to be adding 3D printing to some of the stuff that I'm going to be doing. And we'll be doing... Oh, you know what? Cancel. Cancel. Reason that's not working is I have that set up to run off of the Ybot. And import. These were Mixamo animations. That's why it's not working. I never did retarget them over to the UE4 mannequin skeleton, so we need our Ybot in here before, and I'm assuming that's what the problem was. So now if I bring this in here, Ybot skeleton, import all. What I want to do is the Cinti characters, and pose the Cinti characters or the UE4 mannequin skeleton or whatever else, or any, if you've got your own game characters you want that are in a specific pose, holding a weapon, a sword, a shield, their groin, whatever, you can be able to take them, set them up in a pose that you like, and then you're going to have to convert that over to an OBJ or an STL, which you can do in Blender. And of course, Blender is free of charge. And then once you have that, you can send me the STL file. I will load it up into my software and make sure it's watertight models and make some tweaks and modifications to it so that I can add I won't be doing it in a solid model. I'll create it as a hollow model because when you're printing with a resin printer, the if you do it solid, what'll happen is only the outside layers are really going to solidify, and you're going to be left with liquid resin on the inside. And if that ever breaks, you get that liquid resin all over the place. It can be an irritant. It's fine once it's cured, but whenever it's still in its liquid form, then yeah, it can cause problems, skin rashes, shit like that. But once it's cured, it's fine to touch. I just wouldn't be chewing on it or anything like that. Come on with your animations. I think I had this problem with these animations before. And what I ought to do, if I was smart, is go ahead and retarget these to the UE4 mannequin skeleton, and then um, export them back out. I probably shouldn't be doing this in my main project, considering I have probably 30 other projects I can be doing this in. Um, but once it comes up, if it decides to come up, then I'm sure what I was talking about is the idle animation is fine. Um, However, the way the animations work is I don't know. I think they were made for Unity or whatever. But normally, when your character's standing still like an idle position, the root of the animation is right there between his feet on the ground. Well, in the course of this animation, the character walks away from the root. And whenever it ends that animation to begin the next animation, because there's an idle and 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there's 5 different parts to the animation sequence that you have to run. The problem comes into is whenever it starts the animation, it ends up walking away from the root animation. And it may be 500 units behind the character when it stops that animation to start the next animation. So then it teleports back to the root location and starts the next animation, which is really, really, really stupid. Why don't you keep, you know, attach the root to the root or to a foot or whatever? Figure out what has to be done so that it doesn't, where it ends is not where the root is located. I would have to explain that by showing you what the animations look like if you can't follow that. It's working, it's just going to take a while. I don't know why. Um, Simple multiplayer Steam template. Minor tweaks and fixes here and there. Currently, right now, I've taken out the ping. So if you've got an older version of the simple multiplayer Steam template and you're trying to join an existing server, you're going to see ping of like 9999 because it will not report back with an accurate ping. That is a Steam subsystem thing. It's not like a bug on my end. That's just the way it works. So I've just removed it completely. So now whenever you're searching for games, when it finds a game, you're just going to have the join button and you're going to have the name of the server. And that's it. Oh, would you come on? Doing one pinky finger at a time. If there's any suggestions for that, I've had some people suggest enabling LAN again. It was taken out a long time ago from this because it just wasn't really necessary. Um, it might be for testing, but there's other ways of testing with multiplayer without having to worry about the Steam functionality unless you're trying to test the Steam functionality. But for the most part, it wasn't necessary, so it was just removed. Going to be adding a simple save game system to the simple multiplayer Steam template if you guys think it's necessary. The reason for that is so that perhaps can incorporate a simple character selection screen. And since I'm shipping it the simple multiplayer Steam template with no outside assets other than you're having to use a third person plugin for Unreal Engine 4, but the third party plugin is free. It's not like I'm charging for that. Um, So it will just be the UE4 mannequin, and I'll give them red, white, blue, yellow, green, like 4 or 5 different colors to choose from. And what'll happen is whenever you first go in to begin playing, uh, it will check to see in the lobby if you have a save game already created. It will be a separate save game system than like your player health and that kind of stuff. All this is going to be is saving your character's basic information, whether you're using the red, the white, the blue, the green, yellow, whatever. Um, or in the case of using your Cinti assets, uh, you're going to be the farmer or the zombie or the whatever your character is. It's saved into a separate save game, which would be the um, character data or whatever. Something, I'll figure out a name for it. It's just going to be a save game, and all it's going to do is store your Steam name, your Steam avatar, your uh, player model, and like I say, if you've got a holster and a cowboy hat and whatever, might save all that stuff into this individual save game. That way, holy shit, it's only on part 2. Um, that way, it's there. So when you first load the game, if you don't already have a character created, what I'll probably end up doing is having it to where if you click Start Game or Single Player or Host Multiplayer or whatever, before you can actually go to the single player map or the uh, creating a server portion, what will happen is it will prompt you into the character creation. And from there, you'll be able to select your character from the list, and it will be unique to you. Going to be playing around with some other features too, but you guys keep in touch for the ones that actually have it, and let me know what you think I should do to add to that to create some more value to it. Again, the price for that is $20 US currency, and it will stay that price. Now, whenever I get to, oh God, when this finishes sometime this month, yay, part 3. If you have like a Cinti character and you want it posed with, a sword or whatever else, for now, I suck at doing model stuff. I don't do it anymore. I will try to create a method for doing it completely free for using your characters, whether it being a Cinti character or something else you've downloaded from the marketplace or whatever, and get it in a specific pose, and then export that pose into a format you can use with Blender, and then from there be able to export it back out as an STL file, and then I will go through the STL file. Like I said, I'll make sure that it's watertight and it's ready to go to my slicer, and I will slice it and print it. One Cinti character with this printer, the character is going to be no more than right at 6 inches tall, which I'll probably cap it at around 5 inches tall because I'm not going to print it directly on the bed. Jesus Christ, 3. So, as an example, Chitubox is the software I'll be using on slicing because it's a little bit better for hollowing out models. So what happens is you've got your print bed that you can see this rectangle is the print bed. And if you guys got questions along the way, just shout them out also. Let's say you want a 1911 grip or frame. You see, it barely fits in the dimensions this way, but if you look, The red up here is going to tell me that it's not going to fit in there. So to position it into the actual, yes, it has a legit 1911 frame. If you had a CNC machine or whatever else, you could actually mill that out and have a legit 1911 frame. I've got a bunch of firearms related files. But oh my god, you can't do gun stuff on YouTube or else you're like a terrorist. So I'm actually just going to scale this down for right now for the purposes of this video. And I'm going to do lock ratio. Let's do 50%. Why did you do that? All right, so as the things, I will not be printing it directly touching the bed. We'll actually have it at an angle. I won't even have it flat like that. It'll probably be more along the lines like this, and then we'll actually raise it up by 5 millimeters to get it off of the bed. Then add my supports on. And the reason why I have to do supports is I want to minimize the amount of angles that are right here where nothing is actually touching. And let's find light. And that's so that it supports everything. And I don't remember all the controls of this yet. I'm still learning all the controls of it. But you don't want to have like overhangs that, like if I need to put another support in right there, I can put another one in there. Yeah, cover all this crap later on. This will be in the 3D printing videos. And so there's going to be a minimum of a 5 millimeter space between the bed and the bottom of the model, and may do like a round disc for them to stand on or something like that, so that they'll actually stand up. Close that. Oh my god, you're not done yet. Holy shit. So that way, if you want to buy one, get with me on Discord, trying to figure out what the best price point is going to be on printing these. But if you wanted to buy one, keep in mind that if you do the conversion work to convert your character over into Blender, and make sure you size it no more than 5 inches tall, and if need be, I can give some other dimensions. But make sure that it is no more than 5 inches tall, and that it is in STL format, which Blender can export as an STL files. So that's not a problem. It's already built in, and it's a free program. If you don't already have it, then you probably should have it anyway. But when you export it as an STL, you can just email me or send me a DM with the link to the model, and I'll be able to load the model directly into the software you just saw, and that will let me look at it. And as I was mentioning before, I can hollow it out so that you won't have any resin just staying on the inside, and I'll have to put holes in the base plate so that it will drain out, so that I can actually do the post-processing of washing it, rinsing it out, getting all the goo out of the inside, and just general cleanup that way. Make sure to clean up where the supports were. For the most part, where the support poles go up and touch and hold things up, they break away pretty clean. But again, we'll cover all that later. Holy crap. And if you're interested in getting into 3D printing, I'll actually drag this out of the way, and I will get an affiliate link for Amazon later. And it's cheaper than buying it from the main website. Because we're waiting on that freaking thing. It's small. It's a small form factor. I mean, it's inexpensive. Yeah, it says $369. You can get it for $250 on Amazon. And I will try to get an affiliate link through Amazon so that can get the same price or maybe a better price. But um, going through an affiliate link might earn me a little bit of scratch along the way. So, yeah. The resin showing it's $40 here for 1,000 grams. I can get that for $35 for the same thing. And for those who are not familiar with what this type of printer is, a resin type printer, or in this case, it's not a true SLA. It is, but it isn't. Essentially, what it is an LCD screen that is in the base of it, and like right along in here, there's an LCD monitor or a panel right there that is shining up through this tank. This tank is filled with resin. It has a clear bottom with replaceable clear pieces on the bottom, and this is actually your build plate. So it actually is like it's pulling the model out of the goo. If you watch time lapse, it looks really really cool. Real time, it's boring as shit to watch because the first layer takes anywhere from 20 to 60 seconds, depending on the resin, to bake down that first layer or the bottom raft, and then what it does is it flashes an image, a masked image, onto the screen, and with that, there are UV LEDs underneath that, and they shine through the blank spots in the monitor, and they will cure the resin that's underneath there. That's where the exposed part is. Again, I will cover all this later, but it's really cool. It just takes, for an average model, might take around 5 or 6 hours. It doesn't matter if it's one little small thing on the print bed or 50 things on the print bed. It each layer takes the same amount of time. The first SLA type printers where it was using the resin and it was curing that first layer of resin or each layer of resin, it used a laser to scan back and forth. That took a little longer. Whereas this right here, it flashes out onto the screen and that high intensity UV light is being projected onto a specific pattern of that layer. And it's curing that layer of resin partially. And then it raises up, and then does the same thing again for the next layer. And yeah. But the Elegoo Mars is probably one of the better ones, I would say, to be a first time resin based printer because of the price point and the software. So, pretty good start point. There are some that are cheaper, there are some that are a lot more expensive. The one that I want is around $1,800. But I will have the Elegoo Mars Friday. Good God Almighty! If I knew this shit was going to take this long, I would have done it. Video scheduling this week was kind of screwy because of all the holiday stuff and everything else. This being the first day of the year, and being that I was tied up with a bunch of stuff today, not a good example of what I'm wanting to do. What I want to try to do is mandatory of Monday, Wednesday, and Friday videos, and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That should suit most people. Not everybody, but most people. There might be other videos thrown in here and there, but what I want to do is try to do a Monday and Friday video of Unreal Engine 4, or Monday and Wednesday of Unreal Engine 4. Wow, you're actually done. And then one of those days would actually be gameplay, whether it's the Hunter or another game. I do need to start doing the Hunter more frequently. It's a cool game. So let's go ahead and pop this guy out here. And what I'll do is show you what I meant about the animations. And Since we have these convenient lines here, that's the idle. This is part 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yes, we can count. So what you'll see here is what I'm talking about on the they start doing their specific animations. And you see this guy, he just walked all the way the hell up here. And it looks really kind of crappy like this because of the fact that they're all kind of like, you see, whenever he reset, he jumped all the way back over to here because this is where the root of the animation is. Watch this first one right here. As soon as he finishes up, he teleports back to that same location because that's where the root of the animation is. That just doesn't do me any good. So if I look, where's the root? Doesn't show the root. That's just hips, spine, everything else. There is no root of the animation at all. So since there is no root, what will happen is, well, you know, it's just going to, that's where its starting location was. So it just teleports back to there. And a couple different ways of actually fixing that. So you get all the way to the very end, and that's where it stops. That's the very last frame of that animation. In theory, one way to do it is actually to put an animation notify, but you're still going to have kind of a bleh. You're like a blink, a half millisecond or whatever of time where it acts strange before it goes into the next animation. So that's not the way I'd want it to work. And if I just took these right here and I created an animation montage. And inside this montage, okay, this is number 1. We get to the very, very end. And I add in another animation. That's part 1. So let's bring in part 2. See, you got that teleport there. So if we play the animation, he's back here at 1. And I'm just going to pause it. So he does his animation, and whenever he gets to the end of it, and boom, he goes back to that starting point. That does not do me any good whatsoever. I want it to, when it stops here, I want to continue the animation from that point. Local rotation. Let's see here. Want it to end. You find the exact frame where the first one ends, right there. So how do you mark that and make that your actual freaking root location? I'm going to have to do, once I do a conversion of it, it'll probably add a root in. So I don't need that montage. So let's actually go to our Ybot. It's in a T-pose, and retargeting manager set to humanoid. Root none. There is no root, so we're going to leave root empty. And I did this the other day. Pelvis is going to be hips. And then spine, spine 1, spine 2. The left clavicle would be the left shoulder. It is an absolute pain in the butt to go through here and do this, but it's not terrible. Upper arm is going to be arm, or left arm here. Lower arm is going to be forearm. And of course, hand is going to be hand. But by doing this, since there is no root, we'll see once we retarget the animations. Let's see here. Right clavicle, right shoulder. This be right forearm and right hand. Neck is going to be neck. Head works out fine. Thigh L will be left upper leg. Calf L will be left leg. Then, of course, foot is foot. All right, 3 more and we're done. Right thigh, right upper leg, calf. Shit. Last one. Right foot. And save. So now, we went through all that frickin' trouble to get those here. Let's retarget them to the UE4 mannequin skeleton. And change the folder. Throw them all right here in the same temp folder. Don't take 15 minutes to frickin' work this time. See how far the legs are spread apart? That can be a problem sometimes too. The UE4 mannequin, his legs are farther apart at the feet than the Y-bot is. Good God Almighty, would you come on? I promise I hit it. We're going to do this, and then we'll look at it really quickly, and then we'll move on. So while we're waiting for this to do, there will be some updates on Simple Multiplayer Steam template. Thank you. There will be some other things going on. I'll be working on this project. We'll keep streaming for now. Minimum streams of 3 a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Other streams as needed. All right, that's fine. Shit. Well, it doesn't matter. 5, 6, 7, 8. See, now there's a root. See, the root's still here. But why the hell does he walk away from the frickin' root and leave the root behind? Am I going to have to move the root at the end? I need to delete these and quit messing with this. So now the root's still here. Just dumb thought. No. Damn it. So get all the way back up here. If I try moving the root, the whole friggin' character moves. Can't just move the pelvis because, well, that won't work. So going from there, yeah. Hovering above the ground. I know that ain't gonna work. Key it and apply. So if I hit play, is that going to screw up everything? Yep, sure is. Alright, well, you know what? We could do this. Yep, I know that they're in the map. Force delete anyway. They don't belong in this map to begin with. All right. Well, since everything is being a pain in the ass and being slow right now, just to wrap up, again, simple multiplayer Steam templates getting some updates. Minor at first, but more as we go. Um, there will be 3 regular scheduled streams per week. 3D printing is going to be a thing starting Friday. I may do a 3D printing video on Saturdays or Sundays, whatever. Um, so just keep checking in. The whole point of this stream was to actually talk about little things here and there. Being that it was late starting, anybody that would have normally come in to watch, not going to be a thing. So we will get another video out tomorrow, since this video was not at the appropriate time point and wasn't on point for everything that needed to be done. So we'll do some more streaming tomorrow just to kind of make up for it at the normal scheduled time of 9 p.m., barring any other unforeseen issues coming up. But thanks for watching, and we will see you soon. Check in with Discord if you have any questions.